This is a Dynam Waco. The correct pronunciation on the name is Waco, not Waco. Dynam on nitroplanes, Dynam spells the Waco, W-A-K-O. Don't ask me why. It's been up a few times, about 3 flights. We're just going to take her up again today.
It's got a 10 or...
See, she's got real nice cruising speed.
Very nice.
Once again, we'll talk a little bit about the Waco, sold by Nitroplanes. Dynam, it's Dynam Waco. They spell it W-A-K-O. It's also available from Grayson Hobbies, I know, and a couple other places. The plane's a beautiful flying airplane. That's the plus. If we had to list the good things about this plane, the fact that it flies very nice, it's a very nice flying airplane, is the big plus. It looks good in the air. It's a good size, a 50-something inch wingspan. Now the negatives. When I got the airplane, the horizontal stab was shaped like a banana. I heated it up and got it to level out as good as I could. You want to be careful if you're going to do that, because heating up the foam, you can melt it. So you have to take your time on that and keep your distance with your heat gun. The tail wheel is notched, but where it's notched, you can't get the plane to roll in a straight line, and if you move it out of the notch, the screw won't hold the tail wheel tight, so it pulls to the, not only does it pull to the left with the torque, but it rolls to the left real hard, so you have to give quite a bit of right rudder in it to keep her straight to get off the runway, even without the motor torque. The screw that goes in the bottom, the nylon screw that goes in the bottom to hold the wing on, was crooked as a dog's hind leg. I finally kind of heated that up and got that straight. The speed control, my sons both fly the plane. Their speed control, one of them went up in smoke when he plugged his first battery in on it. He didn't even fly it, he just was testing on the ground. The speed control went up in smoke. I changed mine. I don't take any chances. I put a Thunderbird Castle Creations Thunderbird 36 amp in this. The plane is flying on a 3-cell, it's stock. You can fly it on a 3 or 4. I took the stock motor out because some of the guys had trouble with their motors. Most of the guys are not having trouble. I took mine out. I put an Emax in it. I think it's got about from Heads Up RC, it's got about an 850 kilovolt rating. It's around 2895. I can't remember the model number of the motor. It's the silver cased with blue accent. And it's flying on a 3-cell today, 3000 milliamp Sky Lipo, about a 25C battery. On the 12x6 stock prop, she pulls 30.5 amps, develops 325 watts, flying on about 91 watts per pound. The plane will cruise very nicely at 60% throttle, or excuse me, cruise nicely at 50% throttle, has plenty of power on a 3-cell. Flat on a 4-cell, you can hang it on the prop. This Emax motor is capable of both 3 and 4-cell function, but I had a lot of 3-cell batteries. That's what we're flying it on. Once again, the stock 12x6 prop. Another problem you have, the main problem you have with the plane, is that I had to replace all the hardware for the cabane struts in the center and the wing struts on the outside. My sons tightened those up with the hardware that came with the struts, and when you tighten them up and get the plastic supports in the wing up to where they're touching the struts, when the plane sat overnight, the plastic just crumbled. So I replaced mine with some different hardware and put some spacing washers in and some nylon lock nuts, and just tightened them up to where they just touch. And then on the center, on the cabane struts on the center of the plane down here, when you mount them, between the top of the strut and the plastic mount in the wing that they're supposed to screw into, there was a 1/4 of an inch space between those. So I had to bend those in and put a nylon washer in the middle and do the same thing. I bent them in as much as I could, and got them really close. A little thin nylon washer went in between, and put a nylon locking nut on a hex nut bolt that goes through there, an Allen wrench head bolt, and tightened them up till they just barely touch. And so we're flying without any problems. Now, having said that, everybody thought the kit was such a great deal. Well, it would be if you didn't have all those problems, but when you have to spend half a day running around collecting parts and a lot more time putting the kit together, troubled time versus just an easy build, the plane is not such a great deal in my estimation, but it is a beautiful flying airplane. If you want to find all the problems with this plane, look up the thread Dynam Waco on RC Groups. Other than that, it's a great kit. If they correct a few simple things, it would be a very wonderful biplane. As it is, it's kind of a pain in the butt, but when you get it all worked out, it flies beautifully.
Sounds like a lot of aggravation.
It has been a lot of aggravation, but as you can see, the plane does fly very well.
As long as you're a mechanical engineer to build it.
I wouldn't want to be a beginner trying to put this kit together, or you're going to have some frustration. But hey, you know, if you want to go through the frustration, you're going to have a nice flying airplane.
As my buddy Derek says, tormentia.
Yes, tormentia. Another problem with that I can cite is the gear on the bottom. The aluminum landing gear, the base of the gear, the screws were, the holes were offset, and they wouldn't line up with the fuselage, the holes in the fuselage, so I had to re-drill a hole in the aluminum landing gear, a second one, to get them to line up so that I could bolt the gear on the bottom of the airplane. But you know what, hey, how many things have I listed? You get them all corrected, you'll have a good airplane.